Fantasies are unique to each person as a snowflake is unique in each design. We all want something different even if it's the same idea. I was strolling through my local bookstore in Japan and found a very appealing manga cover and realized I found a fantasy that encompasses my own. It's hard to say what Mato Seihei no Slave is. It's a manga that should be a hentai. It's a battle manga with extremely well executed art. It's a slice of life harem where the girls seem to be all fixated on an average male character. All I can say about this manga is that no matter what you call it, passionate better be on top of your mind like these dream waifus are on top of Yuki, and you will submit to it whether you like to or not. Mato Seihei no Slave is about a guy named Yuki Wakura, a gentle soul with not much self-esteem and loves to clean. But that's all he has, a skill drilled into him by his older sister who is no longer in this world. Years ago, a demonic metropolis appeared in Japan called Mato, or what the natives call a Mato catastrophe, because what comes out of Mato are creatures that want nothing but to destroy. He gets sucked into one of those catastrophes with bloodthirsty Yomotsushuki, demons with dysmorph faces and bodies that seem to be sculpted by Michelangelo, and proceeds to be the luckiest being in all of manga. Right before the Yomotsushuki can even touch Yuki, he gets saved by the Mato Defense Corps' sexy white-haired captain, Kyoka, the 7th out of the 10 existing leaders of the Corps. They are surrounded. The Shuki she made her pet was extinguished, and the only safety they had was a sphere of protection that was being weakened by every blow. Kyoka's ability is one where she can heighten the power of those enslaved by her chains for a price. Kyoka gives the choice to Yuki: become my slave if you want to survive. And just as you might expect from the statement, Yuki gets dumbfounded like anybody would. She reaches her hand out and Yuki makes the obvious choice. He licks her finger and Yuki becomes a monster. Not only becoming very powerful with super strength and super speed, but his appearance is of a wild beast with a tough and white body, claws, red streaks, and a wild-like cowl. What happens after this transformation is expected: the brutal mutilation of every single Shuki. And so, the transformation ends. Kyoka gets down to meet Yuki's eyes and kisses him. What? Apparently, the reward for his ability is given based on the enslaved's latent desires, and Yuki is a pervert. What follows suit is another passionate kiss, Kyoka unable to stop until the payment is fulfilled. This is where I realize I'm invested. Kyoka makes an offer to Yuki. These Shuki, if even one were to leak into our world, dozens of casualties would happen. It's my objective to become the leader of the anti-demon corps and bring an end to those Shuki as soon as possible. The current leader is too lax. With you, I can use my power to its fullest, and I'll be able to go after the seat of leader. Work for me, Yuki. Yuki says, but I'm not especially smart or good at sports. At most, I'm only confident in housework. Kyoka says, I'll welcome someone good at housework with open arms. In that case, I want to become a hero here. We have a deal. What comes afterward is an image of Yuki with the alternative. An uneventful life sucking up to some faceless future boss, and the opportunity facing him now. A life slaying Shuki, avenging his sister, and getting more rewards from Kyoka. The choice was obvious. Thus began his new role as part of the Mato Defense Corps. Oh, not really. Only girls can join the Corps. He's assigned to clean the dorm where there are no battles taking place, and he's basically the caretaker of 3 messy women. The fun-loving giant named Shushu, who should be in Yotsuba, a guns-blazing tsundere named Himari, and the adorable locator Ne, who is the wholesome mascot. Let this forever be tattooed on your hearts now. Do not lewd her. And so the harem, the erotic, and the adventure begins. Listen, I've hated harem since I first watched Rosario Vampire. I'm not a valid professional on the subject of a bunch of girls liking one dude. I cannot help liking this manga. There is a charm to it that brings me back to discovering a new anime and not judging it immediately after 5 minutes. I've enjoyed it and sped through it, and now I'm left to patiently wait for more updates like everybody else. I have, however, noticed that some changes that have been bothering me, and an issue I would like to bring up to you as well. They have been censoring the manga, and I'm pissed. Forgive the perverted remark, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this manga has a lot to offer and a lot of it are the sexy scenarios. So the fact a nipple starts being covered after 70 chapters of lustful freedom is enough to make me want to go to Boston and sink another ship of tea. I started this essay with the proclamation that this manga has a lot more to offer than what is expected. That is true. But considering what this manga is at face value, it is a very ecchi harem that I'm assuming most fans of the genre are looking for sweet, glorious melons when it comes to every chapter. So when something like the classic mysterious glare decides to streak over all the fun, it may be, no, it is a major dilemma. It is ironic that Takahiro, the creator of Mato Seihei no Slave, decides to kill the fun almost as much as he kills characters in Akame ga Kill. I just don't understand the reasoning for it. But there was some news announced recently that may be the cause of it all. Chapter 73, Mato Seihei no Slave anime adaptation is announced. Then Chapter 74 drops, with the white smudge of death. I was in disarray. What in the world will this community do to keep the glorious Rolos out into the world? And then I stumbled upon a comment saying it becomes uncensored when the uncensored volume releases and it's not out yet. So my hope was restored as fast as it was destroyed. It's still out there, boys. Go out and find the Rolos. The anime is set to release sometime in 2023, and the studio that is going to animate this gem is Studio 7 Arcs. Now, the only reason this gives me a little pause is the fact that the only notable anime I have seen from this studio is Blue Period and Tonikaku Kawaii. Both anime have a lot of stylistic visuals that make both shows stand out, but what bothers me is the fact that based on what I'm looking at, there isn't a whole lot of action. Technically there is. They have worked on this one series called Maho Shoujo Lyrical Nanoha. I've never seen it, but based on what I'm seeing on these YouTube video AMVs, the transformations are fire to look at and the action seems to be well directed. However, it seems to be missing the impact I know Mato Seihei no Slave is going to need when it comes down to brownie points from people who know the source material. Believe it or not, there are battle scenes in this manga that seem to be meant for some other shonen battle manga, and yet it's placed in here, and I love it for it. The thing is that this show is supposed to be just a lewd manga. It doesn't have to go anywhere past that because sometimes that's all the viewers need. But Mato Seihei no Slave took the normie lewd harem trope, ate it, spit it out, and now came a manga that made everyone's pants wet. With respect. Apparently, Takemura Yohei is the illustrator for Mato Seihei, and the way he drew Mato, the characters and their special abilities are way more impactful than I could have hoped for. Not only are all the characters gorgeous and sexy, but the battles are like lightning. I get whiplash just reading it because all of a sudden you want to pull your pants down and the next your fist is through the drywall. The new abilities in this manga are stunning, and the way they are depicted are at such a high level it makes me feel like Takemura Yohei has a very promising future in the manga industry, or the hentai industry. Please be hentai, please be hentai, please be hentai. I simply don't want to see another One Punch Man Season 2 predicament, where the anime adaptation falls hard on its face in quality compared to the source material, especially in battle-based manga, because even if the melons are nice, if the fight scenes are lame, there are only so many people who will stay after post-nut clarity. So I'm really hoping that the team at Studio 7 Arcs can do this adaptation justice so the anime doesn't get buried by all the other anime that season. Given what this manga is, and what I hope is going to be transferred into this adaptation, it may seem like all I want from this series is lewds on my screen. And although that is something I do want animated well, what I hope comes across that black and white bridge into the colorful world of anime is the sincerity Mato Seihei no Slave offers. What? An ecchi manga having an actual message? There's no way! You see, that's what I thought too. I was hooked by the erotic panel of the first chapter placed by Kyoka's lovely lips, and after reading it I knew there was something more to it that made me want to continue. Before Yuki was even enslaved to Kyoka, Yuki was already held captive by the chains of a mundane and unfulfilling world. He's right. I'll soon be a working adult. I know I have to get a job after I graduate, but am I just going to work and then pass away like everyone else? No way. Is there nothing better out there? A place where I can be of importance? Stiff and uneventful days. Yuki is the everyman, a normal guy like you and me. What made me feel for his character was the fact that I know that position of feeling mediocre. Feeling like going through the motions, not being particularly good at much, looking outside the window and seeing other people be happy and wonder if you could have the same thing. The fact you know your future is going to look like everyone else's, basically. Stuck in an office, stuck sucking up to the same superior, stuck in life. And then a smidge, a sparkle of an opportunity arises, which may not even look like an opportunity at first, but somehow molds itself into something special, and you take it. That's what Mato Seihei no Slave is. It's a story about reaching new heights you never thought you would reach until now. For Yuki, Kyoka was the opportunity, and what I love about Kyoka is that not only does she play as a savior in the story, but also as someone who could not go the distance, stuck with an ability that can bring out the best in others, but never can truly bring out the best in herself. Other captains are already telling her to give up on her dream and the revenge that won't let her believe that it's true. The manga backhanded me with how emotional this story can be, even introducing new characters like Tenka, the 6th Mato Defense Corps captain, a brazen, sexy character only meant to bring more fan service to Yuki and the viewers, gives one of the most misty-eyed moments for me in the series not long after her introduction. She is number 1 in the latest poll for a favorite character in the series, as Kyoka falls to 4th. It just seems that Kyoka cannot catch a break, where in the manga everyone wants to steal Yuki from her, and in the real world she isn't even winning in popularity. But if it wasn't for Kyoka, I don't think I would have continued with the story and viewed it with as much admiration as I do now. There's this one scene where Kyoka invites Yuki out into the real world. Kyoka, rarely being out of her captain's clothing, wears something a lot more elegant. Beautiful, as always, and as expected, Yuki and the viewer believe this to be a date. Yuki and Kyoka ride the train together. Kyoka, even while resting on the train, is attentive, as always, offering Yuki a candy. The panel of Yuki, looking at her in contemplation. She brought me along all of a sudden on her day off. As Yuki looks out the moving window and mutters in his mind, but I could tell where we're headed. Kyoka's hometown. The next panel, showing Kyoka and Yuki at a gravesite, honoring the village Kyoka was a part of before everyone except her was slaughtered by the one-horned demon. Her reason for wanting to be the head captain, the reason for training so hard, laid here. She probably came to those gravestones time and time again, but the difference is, she brought Yuki now, her key to actually making her dream possible. Both Yuki and Kyoka are the heart of this manga, an underdog story about a guy who has little to no skills, now having many, and a woman with the worst ability finally able to challenge the throne. You will find Demon Slayer vibes at points, quintessential quintuplets in others, and protagonist progression like you would find in any Shonen Jump manga. Further and further down the story, you will see everyone grow stronger and brighter than they ever thought they could have. Honestly, I thought Yuki's ability was kind of boring in the beginning, but there is so much creative abilities built upon this skill that continues to surprise me. The Mato Defense Corps in Squad 7 have shocked me with their own story arcs, and when those moments of redemption finally happen, the art is so visually stunning that I hope it will blow you away like it did for me. The slave in Mato Seihei no Slave isn't about the downfalls of human history, it's the hand we are dealt and forced to live with. Mato Seihei is the fantasy I wish would happen, where even with all my faults, I wish someone would say, I will welcome you with open arms, regardless of your skill or self-doubt. Your worth is here, so let's begin our quest together and break our lackluster days. Funny enough, after I basically finished the video, I was watching an episode of Classroom of the Elite, and they had this one quote before the episode began that I think will fit into this video. A man who cannot command himself will always be a slave. Kyoka gives in to revenge, Himari gives in to self-worth, Shushu to vulnerability, and Yuki to a regular, uneventful life. You will find as you read these pages that those problems become surpassable. Whatever it is you have been through, whatever distant line you can't seem to cross, I guess in some weird sense we are connected by the same chains of being on this earth and living a human experience. Mato Seihei no Slave is that silver line telling us that if we are going to be enslaved anyway, then maybe we can choose who holds on to our chains. So why don't you just submit? Thanks for watching.